Hello everybody, Board Game Lawyer here. It's a Friday evening, and it's a special Friday evening because today is the release date of a brand new hero pack for the game Marvel Champions from Fantasy Flight Games. Today is the release date for Iceman. So I've been looking forward to Iceman for quite some time. One of my favorite X-Men, and probably getting close to 50 years I've been a fan of Iceman. As some of you may know, I love comics that go all the way back to the origin, 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s. That's really my sweet spot. Watch the cartoon, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and so Iceman has been someone who I have liked for a long time. Let's get into this hero pack and find out how this is going to change the game of Marvel Champions. So let's take a look inside. All right. Get that little piece of tape that I should have saved all those. I probably could have made a big tape ball by now. All right, and then we're going to crack open our pack here. Not the easiest thing to do. I'm going to pull it off screen just for a second while I get into it. This one, somebody super glued it for me. That was nice. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so let's crack open our pack here, and there should be some rules tucked away inside. Yes, there are. All right, so we'll toss our packaging for now, and let's take a look at some of the rules for this brand new hero. Usually there's a poster with some rules. So there's our poster of Iceman. Very nice. Excellent. And let's flip over and see if there's any new rules. Okay, so in the Iceman hero pack, yes, of course, we know he's a founding member of the X-Men. And the team's prankster, Bobby Drake, discovered his mutant power to generate cold and manipulate ice as a young teen. He joined Xavier's school to escape persecution in his hometown, and now he fights to protect others as the hot-headed Iceman. All right, so he has a Frostbite upgrade. Let's see what this is all about. Frostbite upgrade. It says Iceman comes with 6 copies of an identity-specific upgrade, Frostbite. These upgrades are set aside at the beginning of each game and do not count toward Iceman's deck size. His kit includes many abilities that attach set-aside copies of Frostbite to enemies. Each copy has a force response that sets it aside after the enemy is attached. It is attached to, activates, or leaves play. When that happens, remove that copy of Frostbite from play and set it aside where it was at the beginning of the game. New card type, player side schemes. We know how those work. There is a featured term, which is indirect damage. Many of us know what that is already. The permanent keyword is also included in the set, and Victory X, so some cards go to the victory display. And that's it. So who are the expansion design and development folks? We got Michael Boggs. All right, Michael Boggs. And Caleb Grace. Excellent. Tony Fanchi. And the producer is Molly Glover, as well as so many other awesome folks here from Fantasy Flight Games. And so, wow, check it out. That's like an all-star lineup right there, right? Okay, so we'll set the rules aside, and let's take a look inside the pack. So we're going to, again, I don't have any adult supervision in here right now, so I need to be careful. Let's get into our pack. Okay, come on, Iceman. And there it is. There is our brand new cards. Smell the smell. Can you smell it? Here, smell it. All right. So here is Iceman. He is our new hero. He has a thwart of 1, an attack of 2, defense of 2. He's a hero. Ice is a trait, and X-Men is a trait. And he has the freeze ability, which is an interrupt. When Iceman makes a basic attack or defense against an enemy, attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to that enemy. Okay, so it says when Iceman makes a basic attack or defense. So that happens immediately. Whenever he attacks or defends, you attach a copy of Frostbite to that enemy. He has a hand size of 5 in his hero form and hit points of 11. And let's take a look at his alter ego side. So there's Bobby Drake. He has a recovery of 4. He is a mutant in his alter ego form. Bobby Drake begins the game with 6 Frostbite upgrades set aside. We read that. And he has the Cool Off ability, which is response. After you change to this form, shuffle 1 ice card from your discard pile into your deck for each copy of Frostbite in play. Okay, so we get a bunch of people frostbitten, and we can shuffle ice cards from our discard pile into our deck for each one of them. So there must be a lot of ice traded cards in our deck today. So there's our hero, Iceman. We'll set him up here for now. And let's take a look at some of the cards in the set. So here's Frostbite. Let's see if all the artwork is the same on each card. I would imagine that they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. They didn't lie. There's 6 of them here. So it's a upgrade. That is a condition. And it's ice. It says permanent. Attached enemy gets -1 scheme and -1 attack. Forced response. After attached enemy activates or leaves play, set this card aside. After attached enemy activates or leaves play, set this card aside. So it's permanent. Comes out as a permanent upgrade that attaches to an enemy, leaves play after the enemy activates or leaves play. Okay. All right, so let's wrap our brain around that. So that's going to be some cards that are set off to the side each game. Frostbite. Let's see, is it? Okay, it's a hero card. All right, good. All right, so let's get into his kit here. So this is card 1 of 15. It is a snow clone, and it is an ally. It has no thwart. Doesn't thwart at all, but it has an attack of 2. And it has a forced response. Let's see. Next to the 2 is a star. It says that the snow clone takes -1 consequential damage after it attacks an enemy with Frostbite attached. Okay, so we attach Frostbite to an enemy, and the snow clone does not take any consequential damage, but he can't have any upgrades attached. It looks like there's at least 2 snow clones. Yep, there's 2 that are in our deck. So 2 signature allies, snow clones, for attacking, nothing for thwarting. No thwarting. All right, so we'll set our allies over here. So we've got 2 snow clones. We'll set those over here. And then next is an upgrade. It's a power belt, item tech. You get +3 hit points, hero resource, exhaust power belt, generate a wild resource for an ice card. Okay, so that snow clone was an ice card. So if we're keeping inventory, there's going to be some ice. Should be several ice cards in his kit here. So that's the power belt. That's an upgrade. We'll set the upgrades over here. All right, and then we've got another upgrade, which is cryokinetic perception. It is a superpower that costs 2. After you resolve your freeze ability, exhaust this card, draw 1 card. If that card has the ice trait, ready Iceman. Oh, nice. So away. So the freeze ability, yep, is that interrupt. Exhaust this card, draw 1 card. Okay, good. So here's yet another upgrade that goes on to Iceman. And we'll set that over there. We have another upgrade, and this is an ice slide that costs 2. Iceman gets +1 thwart, +1 attack, +1 defense, and gains the aerial trait. Wow. Lots of boosts to his stats there. And he gets the aerial trait. Force response. After you change to alter ego form, shuffle this card into your deck. And it is an ice card, so it's another upgrade. And we have yet another upgrade that's also an ice upgrade. It's a condition. It's called Frozen Solid. Oh, and looks like we have a couple of these. So what is Frozen Solid? That's really bright, isn't it? I'm sorry how bright it is. Hero form only, attached to an enemy, max 1 per enemy. Forced interrupt. When attached enemy would activate, discard Frozen Solid instead, then attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite. Attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to that enemy. So this is a 3 cost that prevents an activation attached to an enemy. Wow. That's pretty powerful. Frozen Solid. So this is yet another upgrade. So we have several upgrades so far. And here's a support. It's the Ice Wall. And again, it's an ice card. It's ice traded. Support. Forced interrupt. When an identity would take any amount of damage from an enemy attack, place that damage here instead. Then if there's at least 8 damage here, it says to discard this card and attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to the enemy that just attacked. Wow. So the Frostbite upgrade is going to come into play a lot in a game with Iceman, which makes sense, right? So that is the Ice Wall, and it's a 4 cost. So it's expensive cards so far is what I'm finding. Nothing in the 1 range so far. 2 is the cheapest card so far. So there's our support. Okay, now here is an event. It's an Arctic attack. How many of these does he have? He has 2 of these. It's an attack ice superpower. Hero action. Attack. Choose. Deal 4 damage to an enemy and attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to it. Or deal 6 damage to an enemy with Frostbite attached. Okay, so you attack with Iceman, attach Frostbite to it, spend 2 resources to play this event, and you get to deal 6 more damage. So that's pretty powerful so far. Looking good. All right, next is our Ice Blast. It is another event, and it looks like we have 2 copies of that. This is a 3-cost event. Ice Superpower, hero action. Choose a player, attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to the villain, and each minion engage with that player. Deal 3 damage to each enemy with a copy of Frostbite attached. Wow. Yeah, so you get the board full of, Ultron drones, and man, you could really dish out the damage with the Ice Blast there. Next we have Chill Out, which is another event, and we have 3 copies of this one. So Chill Out is an event. It's an Ice Superpower Thwart, hero action, thwart. Remove 3 threat from a scheme, attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to an enemy. So 2 cost to remove 3 threat and add Frostbite to an enemy. Love it. So it's a way to control some threat. And that's great. So here's yet another event that's part of his kit. So he has 2 allies in his hero kit. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 events. He's got 1 support and 5 upgrades that rounds out his kit. Not bad. All right, so let's start into his aspect. So he's going to be building a deck in aggression for his precon. And our first aggression card is an ally, Shark Girl. She costs 2. She has a thwart of 0, an attack of 2 with a star next to it. It says, while Shark Girl is attacking an enemy, she gets +1 attack for each upgrade attached to that enemy. And Frostbite, can you put more than 1 on an enemy? Ooh. So stick 6 of those on your... Shark Girl's attacking an enemy. She gets +1 attack for each upgrade attached to that enemy. Ooh, nice. Very good. And then we also have some other upgrades here that attach to enemies as well. So Shark Girl's really good for this deck. So here's another ally, 2 snow clones, and a Shark Girl. Next we have a Glob. Well, he is a ally with a thwart of 2. He takes 2 consequential damage when he thwarts. An attack of 2. Play only if your identity has the X-Men trait, so we can't play it in our alter ego form. But when we flip up to our hero form, we can play Glob. His response is, after Glob enters play, deal 2 damage to an enemy with an upgrade attached. Nice. So here's some more support for those attached upgrades. So that's pretty good. So far 1, 2, 3, 4 allies in his precon. Next we have some upgrades here. And it looks like we're going to have 3 copies, a full set of this one. It's called Suppressing Fire. It costs 0. Attached to a minion. Nice. Max 1 per minion. Hero interrupt. When you attack and defeat attached minion, heal 2 damage from your hero. Oh, man. This is going to be great. So here's some more upgrades. I'm thinking, too, that this is going to be some Cyclops love. These cards are. Sorry about the bright light. Next, we have a surprise move, which is an event, and there's 3 copies of this, so a full set of surprise move. It is a tactic. Hero interrupt. When you make a basic attack against an enemy with an upgrade attached, you get +2 attack for this attack. If this attack defeats that enemy, ready your hero. Oh, nice. With an upgrade attached. I like it because they started exploring the attaching upgrades to the enemies, but so far there hasn't been a lot of follow-up to it. Just in that initial blast from the X-Men. All right, so Take That is a event that costs 3. And we get a full set of those. It says Hero Action Attack. Deals 7 damage to an enemy with an upgrade attached. Oh boy. Another expensive card, but 7 damage. Well, this certainly is an aggressive set here. Okay. Now we've got some Looking for Trouble. We've got 3 copies of Looking for Trouble. And it's a hero action. Thwart. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until you discard a minion. Put that minion into play, engage with you. Remove 3 threat from the main scheme. So a way to go fetch enemies, minions in particular, and an opportunity for you to remove threat from the main scheme for 0 cost, which is wonderful. This looks like, I think it's a reprint, right? Looking for Trouble. Yeah. Actually, I don't know if it's a reprint. Well, it's not a Thor card. Discard cards from top of the encounter deck until you discard a minion. Looking for Trouble. So that's another set here of 3 events. And then we've got our player side scheme. Keep up the pressure. Victory 0. When defeated, each player may search their deck and discard pile for an attack event and add it to their hand. Shuffle. Until the end of the phase, each attack event deals 1 additional damage. All right, so it's a way to fetch some attack events, which we've got several here, and that's great. Now we move into our basic cards as part of the precon here. So we have Shadowcat, another ally, Thwart of 2, attack of 1. She's an X-Men, 3 health. Play only if your identity has the X-Men trait. So again, one that we can only play in hero form. And it says response. After you play Shadowcat from your hand, choose a side scheme and play. That side scheme loses, let's see, Acceleration, Amplify, Crisis, and the Hazard icon until the end of the round. Until the end of the round. So blanks. So wow, Shadowcat's pretty cool. Blanks out those dangerous icons. So we got another ally, which is nice so far. We have so far 5 allies, and here's another one, Beak. Oh, cool. Like a big bird here. Ally, Thwart of 1, attack of 1, 2 health, X-Men, response. After you play Beak from your hand, remove 1 threat from a scheme for each X-Men ally you control. So these are all X-Men allies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I love the fact that he has lots of friends. He has lots of amazing friends in his build there. All right, next we have a support, which is team building exercise. We've seen that before. So it says exhaust team building exercise. Play a card from your hand that shares a trait with your hero. Reduce its cost by 1. And there is a tremendous amount of things in here that share traits with Iceman. So we have Ice. We've got X-Men. We've got a lot of targets for that card, and we have 3 copies of team building exercise. So you can use this during, it's a hero action. So you can't stack them. You can't like get multiple discounts off of having several down, but you can use them. You can use each one in the turn for sure. Now here's Recuperation. It's alter ego action. Heal damage from your alter ego equal to your recovery. And so his recovery is, I believe, 4. Yep. He has a recovery of 4. So if you spend 2 in your alter ego form, you're already exhausted. You could spend 2. And there you go. You can do some recuperating. All right. So we'll put these down here. Getting a little bit off the screen here. My apologies. Ooh, good. We got The Power in All of Us. More copies of that. One of my favorite ones, actually. I use this one a lot. It came in the Wasp Hero Pack. So now we have an X-Men themed one. The Power in All of Us. Max 2 per deck. Double the number of resources this card generates when paying for a basic gray card. Okay, so that's the only resources that we get. So discounts for playing gray cards, so it can target Shadowcat, Beak, recuperation, team building exercise. So these will all cost 1. Shadow Cat would cost Power in All of Us. This one additional card. Unless you have the team building exercise out on the table, then Shadow Cat, you could play her with the Power in All of Us. So nice. What a wonderful pre-con deck Iceman has. I don't see anything in here that I would not play in a game. So that's exciting. I'm looking forward to playing with this pre-con. And I am a fan of pre-con decks. So I'm looking forward to playing with this one. Yep, for sure. All right, so now we're getting into our obligation. It's hot-headed. It is an obligation. Give to the Bobby Drake player force response after you attach a frostbite upgrade to an enemy, take 1 damage. Okay, so this stays on the table when you put frostbite. So his alter ego response is after you make a basic recovery, discard this card. So you're gonna have to use up one of his actions here to remove this card. So that's his alter ego response. Next we have our Nemesis minion, Pyro. This is part of his Nemesis set. So very fitting that we have fire and ice in this pack. So Pyro is a minion with a scheme of 1 and attack of 2. He has quick strike, which is always good, and a quick strike of 3. 4 health, and next to the 3 is a star, and it says Pyro's attack deal indirect damage. Ooh. All right, so Pyro deals indirect damage. Next we have Playing with Fire. When defeated, the player who defeated this scheme discards the top 3 cards of their deck and takes 1 indirect damage for each resource icon discarded this way. So I think everything looks like it has a resource icon on it, but at least it looks like they all have 1. I didn't see anything with multiples, but I wasn't really looking. So Playing with Fire has 3 boosts on it, and it has the acceleration icon on it. It's Playing with Fire. I like it. It's very thematic. Next we have Pyro's Flamethrower. Attached to Pyro, otherwise this card gains Surge. Forced Interrupt. When Pyro attacks you, discard the top card of your deck. Pyro gets +1 attack for this attack for each resource icon on that card. All right. So there's his Flamethrower. And then we've got a couple of copies, looks like, of Burn here, which is a Treachery card. When revealed, discard the top 2 cards of your deck. 3 cards instead of Pyro is in play. Take 1 indirect damage for each resource icon discarded this way. All right, so now more indirect damage that can be dealt. So it's fire is raging in Pyro here. And then we stop for a break. Our Iceman deck is listed on the back of the card here. If you need to keep track of your precons, there's your Iceman deck card. And now we go to the freebie cards in the back of the pack, and this is a modular set. Sauron is a minion. It's the name of the set, and the name of the character that's in this one is Sauron. He has a scheme of 2 and attack of 2. He's of the Brotherhood of Mutants. He has 6 health. When revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for the Life Drain attachment and reveal it. And his boost is heal 3 damage from the activating enemy. Heal 3 damage from the activating enemy and give it a tough status card. Wow. So Sauron is a great boost. But when revealed, we got to look for the Life Drain attachment and reveal it. And let's see. And there's the Life Drain attachment here in his set. So we'll set Sauron down here. Next we have Sauron Lives, which is a side scheme. It says when defeated, the player who defeated the scheme searches the encounter deck and discard pile for Sauron and deals him to himself as a face-down encounter card. Okay, so then he will be revealed whenever he flips up. It's got a crisis icon on it. It also has 3 boost icons on it, and it has it comes out with 3 thread on it. So that's Sauron Lives. Okay, fumbling the cards here. Next is our Life Drain, which is the card that we were to fetch. It's a superpower. Attached to the minion with the highest printed hit points, which we know Sauron has 6, so that's quite a bit. It activates against you. If no minion activated this way, this card gains Surge. Forced Interrupt. When attached enemy attacks you, take 2 damage and give the attacking enemy a tough status card. Oh. Yeah, Sauron. If he brings this out and puts it on himself, that's pretty good. Okay, so that's the life drain. Now we're going to look into the Eye of Sauron, and he has 3 eyes. Is that a Triclops? When revealed, discard the top 2 cards of your deck, 3 cards instead if Sauron is in play. For each resource icon discard this way, do the following. If it's energy, place 1 threat on the main scheme. If it's mental, discard 1 card from your hand. Physical, deal 1 damage to your identity. And if it is a wild, it says exhaust a character you control. So that is the Eye of Sauron. You're going to discard at least the top 2 cards of your deck. 3 if Sauron's in play. And then terrible things happen from the Eye of Sauron, which we would expect, right? Okay, so that is the pre-con deck, the hero kit, the hero pack for Iceman from Marvel Champions. From Fantasy Flight Games. I am really looking forward to playing with this brand new hero. He's long awaited for many. I know that he's a fan favorite, Iceman is, and so I'm hoping that everyone's having a nice time playing. Hopefully you got your copy. If you haven't, likely it's at your friendly local game store. You could go out and pick up a copy of Iceman or pick it up from your favorite retailer online. So Iceman, looks like a lot of fun. I like the way the deck looks. We're going to give it a test drive here this evening. I'm gonna test it out, I think, against Rhino, which is my favorite punching bag to try out a new deck against. So you can stick around and watch that. I'll probably produce that as another video, that playthrough video. Anyway, we'll go ahead and end this one. I'm the Board Game Lawyer. You can catch me here on YouTube. You can also catch me live on Twitch. Oftentimes I'll do a Friday night live Twitch. Where I do playthroughs of games of Marvel Champions primarily, and hope to see you there. Anyway, thanks for watching today. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see more of my content, and appreciate you watching today. Thank you so very much. Have a good night, friends. Take care.